gentlemen, the American Cheering Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Eric Deters Show. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Consulting, Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. Well, it has been revealed that after Joe Biden shook a company down and gave the Bidens $200,000, Jim Biden sends a check to Joe Biden for $200,000. Gangsters, baby. Straight up gangsters. And, you know, if this was going on with the Trumps, I mean, just imagine if you super transpose everything about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and Jim Biden with Donald Trump Jr. and Trump's brother. I mean, just the world would have gone nuts by now. Still, not one Republican has demanded Joe Biden resign. I don't get it. An 11-year-old was the grand marshal at an transgender Orlando Pride Parade. Goofy stuff. Iranian spies in our midst, according to Ted Cruz. You know what? I've been talking about this since the Obama years. You don't think that Barack Obama and Joe Biden, they let anybody in this country, and you think they're double checking people when they apply for jobs that are important? Hell no. Spies are everywhere. Ted, I didn't need you to tell me that. McConnell did a CBS interview. Some of the highlights, he's recovered from those moments of palsy. Really? Oh, you snap your fingers and you don't have dementia anymore. I don't think so, Mitch. He says he agrees with Ukraine and Israel funding being combined. And he didn't have any comment about Menendez. Nothing about him being, think about this. Nobody in the Senate's demanding Menendez resigns, except Fetterman. It's crazy. 3 Brits were murdered by Hamas. A mother, sister, daughter, connected to the British royal family, actually. Sad. The Hamas chief is living in London. I swear, man, this freaking world. Liz Cheney, you ready for this? She's contemplating running for president. She thinks Joe Biden has done such a better job on the world stage than Trump. Look around, Liz. And all the violence in the cities is Trump's fault. White supremacy. I mean, gosh, she enough to drive you crazy. Mitt Romney says it's all about character. All about character. And he's from the party of George Bush, 41, 43, blah, 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 blah. And there's no place for him really in the Republican Party anymore. Mitt, you're the one that blew it. Blew it. China, according to our Pentagon, they're using more and more dangerous tactics. Hey, Liz. Israel, using a special weapon to blow up munition stores. Hope it works. Mike Pence, good old Pence. You ready for this? Running out of money, and he's getting crowds of like 10 people. Think about that, what it means. You are a former VP of the United States, and you're getting crowds of 10 people. Comer has been on Fox News 200 times this year. Raising that profile, James. Jesse Jackson, 82 years old, has been hospitalized. Geico's laying off 2,000 people. Insurance companies always win. Hamas. This is hostage-taking evil. You know what they said? They would release some of the hostages if they would stop bombing Gaza. Go get them. The Italian Prime Minister Meloni is firing and breaking up with her boyfriend. Why? He publicly talked about her saying no to a threesome. Come on, guy. Have some. Ugh. He's gone. He's out of there. Chinese birth rate is going down, and it's bad. It's so bad, Nestle is cutting back production of their baby products. House Speaker issue. You can't make this up. The following people are running for House Speaker. Tom Emmer, Kevin Hern, Austin Scott, Byron Donalds, Jack Bergman, Jody Arrington, Mike Johnson, Pete Sessions. Might as well throw myself in there, too. All right, VVAC opposes the invasion in the Gaza Strip. VVAC's falling apart. It's just like Bobby Kennedy. Find out Bobby Kennedy's for reparations. Sorry, Bobby. I like your vax position, though. Joe Biden, immigrants. He wants more money to transport immigrants across the United States. You ready for this? Trump has now reached 60% in GOP polls. Every one of his opponents is in single digits. And they're still holding debates, and they're still in the race. It's a joke. Our budget deficit is now $1.7 trillion. Just so you know, that's the difference between what we're bringing in this year and what we're spending. $1.7 trillion. The total budget is under $5 trillion. Unbelievable. Supreme Court is going to let Joe Biden keep censoring until they take another case they think's more appropriate. Folks, this is the problem with our United States Supreme Court. Rather than decide issues that they know exist, they sit around and they play games. Trump was fined $5,000 by Erdogan, the judge in the Washington, D.C. case. Excuse me, the New York case. My bad, the New York case. Fined $5,000 for violation of the gag order. Anheuser-Busch is going to pay $150 million to distributors to keep selling Bud Light. Obama Treasury Secretary got $14 million from a private equity company when, as Treasury Secretary, he did not crack down on rules that applied to that company. Gangsters. Judge Andrew Wilkinson, a Maryland judge, was shot outside of his home in the driveway. The alleged assailant is Pedro Argata, who earlier that day lost his kids in a custody battle in Judge Andrew's courtroom. Sad. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, the American cheering Bulldog Nation, welcome to Pop Culture. We start off with the Orlando Pride Festival had an 11-year-old transgender kid as its grand marshal. Sick stuff. Some guys pretended to be a mannequin at an apartment store, and then after the store closed, went shopping. The cops caught him. I like that. I've always said, why not hide in the bathroom? Right. Hide somewhere in an apartment store. Killers of the Flower Moon, a 3.5-hour movie. I saw it Friday afternoon. Worth it. Great freaking movie. Jake, Jake from State Farm, his real name has been revealed. It's Kevin Miles. Just wanted you all to know that. Right. John Stamos says one time when he was dating Terry Copley, he went over to her house and there was a car out front. And guess who he figured out was in her bed with her? Tony Danza. Even John Stamos loses a chick. Yeah. All right, McDonald's Friday fries are free for the rest of the year on Friday with a purchase of $1 or more. Remind me of that, Jamie. We ought to go get some fries Friday. This is a sad story, but wild. It's why I bike in my driveway. Folks, you see bikers all the time. And everybody says, oh, bikers have the right of way and everything else. These two bikers were biking in Utah, and you can't make this up. These two, a lumber truck came by with lumber, only going 40 miles per hour, and the lumber came undone, killed both of them. Isn't that crazy? They were Nike headquarter folks. All right, Leo has a $700,000 movie poster. Apparently the most expensive movie poster of all time. It was some sci-fi movie from way back when. Aaron Andrews and Dion are hooking up. Dion is letting Aaron Andrews' apparel line take care of his line. Sophie Farraga's out on a date with this cornball, that TV orthopedic doctor. What the hell? Lucky dog. All right, Mick Jagger. Look at him here. Surprise appearance on Saturday Night Live. How you like that? And they caught Lopez or Affleck at J-Lo out without makeup, so she flipped everybody off. Gave him the bird. Mick, on his new album, says they haven't had any music for a couple decades. He wanted to do it. and he talked about how sad it is that all his friends are dying. Italy Prime Minister Melania is getting rid of her boyfriend. You know why? He publicly talked about her not wanting to do a threesome with him. What the hell? Joe Rogan commented on Kid Rock's 20,000 square foot mansion in Nashville. He says it is some hillbilly redneck stuff. Chick-fil-A paid a fine of $4.4 million for misrepresenting the size of their meals. 9 years in a freezer. This guy right here, he was missing for years. They found him in a freezer in some Italian place. They think he could have been in there for 9 years. Who's this guy's friends? Jeez. Tom Brady and Irina Shayk. Oh, it's a real shocker. Apparently, they're going their separate ways. But let's face it, man, he got to do it with a supermodel. You move on and find another one, right? Jimmy Fallon and his wife. Why do these people not take their names? Juvanum, Nancy Juvanum, are apparently in trouble because Jimmy Fallon parties too much. Now, this is wild. There's a famous story where Eric Clapton went up to George Harrison after George Harrison kind of caught him in a garden at a party. And Eric Clapton says, "I'm in love with your wife." Well, that's what George Harrison did to Ringo's wife. "I'm in love with your wife." What the hell? Jamie, Josh, don't ever come up to me and tell me you're in love with my wife. If you are, keep it to your damn self and stay away from her. Like, don't leave behind any, like, clothing items or something like a sweatshirt or something. OnlyFans teacher says she made too much money doing OnlyFans to teach. She's kind of pretty. I would too. If I could make it as an OnlyFans person, I would do it. Sabrina says I could, but I don't really know if I could or not. CMA Awards are coming up in 2 weeks, and there has been some stories about when CMA Awards are really fun. Charlie Rich actually burned the Entertainer of the Year when it was John Denver. I'm sure that made John Denver feel really great.
Every truck too, right?
Right. And Kevin Costner played his band, and guess what? Sold out. He's doing really well post-divorce. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. You're watching Eric Deters World News. Today's top headlines. Here we go. Rafah, Gaza Strip, the second aid convoy destined for desperate Palestinian civilians reached Gaza yesterday as Israel widened its attacks to include targets in Syria and the occupied West Bank. And the Israeli Prime Minister warned Lebanon's militant group that if it launches its own war, we will cripple it with a force it cannot even imagine. Voters in Argentina headed to the polls yesterday to vote in a general election during the country's worst economic crisis in 2 decades. The election has shaped up to be a three-way race between candidates who have promised to bring the country back from the brink, at a time when the price of basic groceries can fluctuate within hours, with inflation standing at 140%. I'm glad I don't live there. South China Sea. The Philippines has accused China's Coast Guard of colliding with a Filipino supply boat in the South China Sea. The Filipino vessel was on its way Sunday to a Philippine outpost in the second Thomas Shoal, where tensions has escalated in recent weeks. A major search operation is underway after a crew member was reported to have gone overboard from a cruise ship off the coast of Kent in England. Her Majesty's Coast Guard has said it is coordinating the search near Ramsgate after it was alerted around 8 o'clock this morning. A helicopter, a Coast Guard, aircraft and lifeboats are involved in the operation. And sad news, my favourite footballer of all time, Sir Bobby Charlton, died over the weekend. He played for Manchester United in England. In honour, I'm wearing my football top, Manchester United Football Club. Rest in peace, mate. Until tomorrow, have a fantastic day. Cheerio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American German Bulldog Nation, welcome to Eric Deters Local News. Is always sponsored by Deters Consulting, Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. Well, Peter Larkin was shot in Latonia over the weekend, and he's deceased. wonder if he's any relation to Barry Larkin. We'll see. Daniel Cameron is using taxpayer funds, nearly $200,000 worth, to run an ad from his attorney general's office about human trafficking. Man, that smells to high. See, it never changes. These guys running for governor, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't make any difference. They're all cut from the same cloth. Lane closures at Western Hills Viaduct today. Emergencies, both north and south, upper and lower. New bridge name that some of the local media is saying, hey, let's call the new bridge. What should the new bridge mean? I say we call it the Sabrina Cain Bridge or the Josh Wentz Bridge. Just give it to some regular old Jane or Joe. You guys are not regular. You're all special. All right, Daniel Boone. There's always been a dispute whether he died or whether he's buried in Missouri or he's buried in Kentucky. I need to check with my good buddy, a descendant, actual descendant of Daniel Boone, Alan Miracle. We'll see what he has to say. Over the Rhine shooting last night. It never ends, does it? Ryan Quarles takes the job of Kentucky Community and Technical College System. This coming January 1st, he says he's got big plans. It was a dream job. Every job he runs for, he claims it's his dream job. Kentucky workers' comp cost is down for 18 years in a row. Good for us. Paul Patton has written a book. It's called A Coal Miner Became Governor. He's 83 years old. I'm probably going to buy the book and read it just out of curiosity. Larry Forgey's arch nemesis. Worst Kentucky college, this little college, Lindsay College down in Columbia, 2,300 people. How the hell can that be the worst college in Kentucky? Stand up for yourselves. Defend yourself. Larry Forgey ran an ad 1991-92, and in this ad, he says he couldn't be bought. He's only accepting $300 because he refuses to sell out, be bought, blah, blah, blah. 30 years later, his message still freaking applies to the state of Kentucky. Governor debates. They had one on Saturday. Tonight's going to be on KET, and Tuesday's going to be WKYT. Nobody's tuning into these debates. 3 were shot at a Lexington party over this weekend. Violence everywhere. Jeff Birding, who is the chair of the Visit Cincy board, says we need to really focus on a new arena. You know what, Jeff Birding? How much corporate dollars went for FC Cincinnati? It makes me sick. Now they'll want corporate dollars for this, of course. Not corporate dollars, I misspoke. Taxpayer dollars to FC Cincinnati Stadium. And then they're going to want something for this arena. And all the big boys, all the corporate folks will have their hand out and people will make a lot of money. It never changes. Drake has bought the UK Wildcat sneakers. I'm assuming this is legit. John Calipari had his on. UK scrimmage over the weekend, Saturday night. It was fun. Rob Dillingham had 40 points at NKU. We went to it. Miles Cosgrove, he's the guy who shot Breonna Taylor. He's getting a lot of grief because he pulled a gun in purpose of his job as Carroll County. Is this guy not allowed to ever pull a gun again? I'm just asking. All right, Mike Lindell devices are banned from Northern Kentucky election sites. He's got a device that checks whether or not funny business is going on. Daryl Noble, 26, has been arrested in a Coleraine murder. Never ends. Bashir on Friday came down to Newport on the levee to talk about Margaritaville and all the money that's going to pour into Newport and Kentucky as a result of that. A former Red, he only played for a little part of a year, Dan Serafini, has been arrested for the alleged murder of somebody in Tahoe in 2021. Corporex, I'm going to make fun of this. Jeff Eagle, Senior VP of Design and Construction, not destruction, that's funny. Vice President of Design and Construction. Does Corporex send out press releases when they promote the lower level folks? Why don't they? Just asking. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, the American Cheering Bulldog Nation, welcome to Sports Without Boundaries. As you know, Monday is always our longest show because we've got so much to talk about. The big news last night, of course, was the Dolphins played the Eagles at the Eagles, and I tell you right now, 2 threw an interception. he didn't throw that interception, they would have had a chance. I was, of course, rooting for the Dolphins because I don't like the Eagles because they're in the Dallas Cowboys division, but the Eagles won 31-17. You can't make this up. On one drive, the final drive that the Eagles scored, they did that push play 3 times on that drive, once including on their own 30. Could not be stopped. Unbelievable. The Browns 39, Colts 38. Beat them by 1 point. Deshaun Watson is hurt. We'll see where that goes. Patriots upset the Bills. Who saw this coming? 29-25. Belichick got his 300th win. Mac Jones played like a world champion. And word is that in the offseason, those of you that are wondering, Bill Belichick signed a contract extension. He's not going anywhere. Giants 14, Commanders 7. Barkley's not going to be traded. You know what Barkley said after the game, Josh Wentz? He said, yeah, if we would have lost, they would have traded my ass. That's an exact quote. Wow. Ravens stomped the 5-1 Lions. 38-6. This was a butt whooping. Bears 30, Raiders 12. Raiders say they're not going to trade Devontae Adams. Falcons 16, Bucks 13. I tell you right now, it's up and down with the Bucks. Steelers 24, Rams 17. You know what this means, Josh Wentz? Every AFC North team freaking won as the Bengals had their bye. And tonight, the Vikings play the 49ers. And the only good news for the Vikings is Deebo Sanders isn't going to play. Hairline fracture. He's going to be out against the Bengals next week as well. Major League Baseball. Wow, what a postseason. Last night, though, the Rangers won 9-2 over the Astros, and it's going to Game 7 tonight. Game 7. And the Phillies are up 3-2 on the Diamondbacks. They play as well today. So the World Series around the corner. In college football, some incredible games. The Ohio State Buckeyes beat Penn State 20-12. Defensive struggle. Oklahoma 31, University of Central Florida 29, Air Force 17, Navy 6. There was a record touchdown pass at 94 yards for Air Force. Oregon 38, Washington State 24. Bama, they were down 20-7 at halftime. Final score, Bama 34, Tennessee 20. Sorry, Peyton Manning. Texas 31, Houston 24. Ewers, the starting quarterback, is out. Will the Arch Manning, he's apparently the third quarterback, will the Arch Manning season begin? The saga. I think it might. Virginia 31, North Carolina 27. North Carolina blew their chances. Blew it. Ole Miss 28, Auburn 21. Michigan 49, Michigan State 0. How has Michigan State fallen? Florida State 38, Duke 20. Utah 34, USC 32. USC back-to-back losses. Baylor 32, UC Bearcats 29. The Bearcats have not won a Big 12 game yet. NHL, Red Wings 6, Flames 2, Bruins 3, Ducks 1. This is an interesting story. Dan Serafini, who pitched 1 year for the Cincinnati Reds, he's like 49, was arrested along with a girl, charged with murdering a guy in Tahoe and trying to murder his wife. A murder that happened in 21. Through detective work, all fingers point to Dan Serafini. He does have an Italian name. All right, college rankings. Back to college rankings. Georgia's 1, Michigan's 2, Ohio State 3, Florida State 4. My Bama, creeping up. Creeping up. All right, NFL. They say they are tired of the fighting, and they're about ready to hand out some serious fines and suspensions for it. Dabo Swinney lost the University of Miami, under fire for some comments when he said that the sports psychologist for the team is probably on suicide watch. That's not a big deal. What big deal? That was funny. Their psychologist on suicide watch. Yeah. Lincoln Riley is apparently looking at an NFL job. Yeah, I wonder why. USC's lost twice. It's not that easy, is it? Do you know, I can't think of anything, Josh Wentz, higher pressure than big-time college football. Because you lose one game, you might be done. You lose 2 games, you are done. So that is pressure. And I tell you who deals with it better than anybody is Nick Saban. He's got his Bama scratching. All right, Curry's parents got divorced. It was a big mystery. He got remarried 1 year ago, and he's been remarried. Everybody's feeling sorry for his first wife, Sonia. By the way, College Game Day next week is going to be number 13 Utah hosting number 8 Oregon. SEC fans are pissed off it's not Georgia and Florida. Ohio State high school playoffs are all set. I got the list. I'm going to wait until Friday. Pat McAfee, 49% watching College Game Day don't like him. He says he might move on. Here's the problem with him. He's too obnoxious. I don't like him. He's too obnoxious on the show. Aaron Andrews is teaming up with Deion Sanders for sports apparel. They're going to use her line. Paul Feinbaum, the big football guru with the gigantic ears. See, we're not politically incorrect. I can say he's got big ears. Thinks that Nick Saban has done the best job coaching ever, and I agree with him. UK scrimmage. I attended this on Saturday night over at NKU. 10,000 people showed up. Cal sat on the first row on the other side, but he still coached from there. And I can tell you right now, Rob Dillingham put on a show. He was the 13th ranked ESPN, 40 points. Justin Edwards struggled. He's their star, freshman star. Struggled in the first half, ended up with 26 points. And I think, oh my goodness, Wagner. A guy had 23. He's the other star. But they were all on the same team. Dillingham lit it up, man. Thero played well. I can tell you right now, they are loaded. And they got 3 7-footers that didn't even play. Speaking of UK, 2024 top point guard, Boogie Flan, his name is Boogie Flan, is coming to UK. Ohio State played, you ready for this, at the halftime? They spelled out Led Zeppelin and played Led Zeppelin. Nice. I'll bet you Nick Batista went nuts. Islam Makhachev defeated Alexander Volkanovski, UFC, with a kick to the head. The headline said decapitated. No, he really wasn't decapitated. ESPN, they've showed the game between James Madison and Marshall, and a Marshall fan had game effing day. Game day. Game effing game day. And they had to split out really good. Kelsey lost the Iowa State bet, had to show up and practice with the Iowa State headgear on. Speaking of UK, Drake has apparently bought all the UK players new tennis shoes. You know who had it on on Saturday? Calipari. Deion Sanders has stolen Antoine Hill Jr. for the 2025 class. The game plan, his son stays next year and Antoine Hill comes in. T. Higgins was inducted into his high school Hall of Fame over the weekend. Kentucky high school football scores: Beechwood 41, Bracken County 0, Campbell County 28, Grant Crossing 22, Carroll 21, Gallatin 9, Connor 38, Boone 13, Cooper 21, Dixie 14, Covcath 50, Mason 14, Harrison 45, Holmes 0. I want the Holmes people to know that if you would like me to coach your Holmes High School Bulldogs, the Bulldog, and rise and raise the Holmes Bulldog football program out of its defunk, I will do it. Henry 34, Shelby 28. Lexington Catholic 72, Josh. Pendleton County 0. Sabrina, what's wrong with your football team? Lloyd 47, Bourbon 6, Ludlow 38, Holy Cross 13, Ryle 24, last seconds against my Pioneers 21. Walton Brewer 24, 0-0. Sam Hartman shaved off his beard. Now he's just left with a Anchorman mustache. Michigan has suspended Connor Stallions as part of the signal stealing. And Todd Bowles agrees with Baker Mayfield. They should be pissed off every week. After losing this week, they're going to be extra pissed off. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.